What is up, martial arts fanatics? Welcome back. As always, I am Coach Greg, and today I want to talk about something that if you've done martial arts for more than 30 seconds, you've encountered, and it's the what if they got a gun? You can't chop a bullet, right? Those guys. And I don't just want to talk about like having a counter argument for them, because I think that if you've done martial arts for a while, like, you know the counter arguments, you know what I mean? Like, there's benefits to unarmed skills, and I think that anybody who carries a firearm should have verbal de-escalation, unarmed skills, and firearm training that goes beyond just putting rounds down range, but deals with, I think, the real issue, which is working under duress, something that most firearms training does not teach you, and the ability to override your maybe like freeze response or something like that and choose the response that is appropriate at that time has to do with learning to deal with duress. That's why the military has basic training. That is the primary reason for it, is to learn to deal with duress and to be calm under duress. And that's what martial arts teaches you, especially arts like jiu-jitsu or like kickboxing, where you have a lot of active resistance. You learn to be calm in the center of the storm. And those are valuable skills, along with, you know, taking the chip off your shoulder so that maybe you don't feel like you have to use the weapon. You know, and being able to go in a, you know, critical situation to not have to go from 0 to 90 miles an hour is a valuable skill as well. To be able to go, look, this guy's angry, I'm going to use verbal de-escalation first. Okay, the guy's starting to approach. I don't need to use the firearm yet because I have enough, I feel confident in my ability to handle the situation without it. Okay, now it's escalated to the point where I need to use the firearm. Those are always valuable. Of course, there's plenty of situations where unarmed situations for self-defense is always superior anyway. You know, if I am in the workplace and I don't have my firearm, if I'm in other places where the firearm's not available, like if I'm at the beach or an airport, if you're talking about domestic violence and sexual assault situations, sometimes you don't have one or you can't access it. Whatever your reason is, it's not always available, right? So there's a lot of reasons I can get into why martial arts is in some cases more superior, but they get into the hypothetical game and they go, what if I'm 10 feet away with a firearm pointed at you? You know, and I go, what if there's cover and concealment? They go, no, there's no cover and concealment. Okay, and every time you bring up a what if, they're like, no, because it's their hypothetical. They want to set the terms, right? Obviously, in that situation, you die. It's not, and I feel like they do it like as if it's gonna like end the conversation. Like, I win the conversation. You didn't think about that. Like, it's never occurred to me the idea that, you know, and it's kind of like the same people who like they don't do jiu-jitsu, so they go, what if I poke you in the eye? Or people who don't train, they go, what if I kick you in the balls? I've been doing martial arts for 30 years. You mean to tell me that you think that I've never considered the fact that somebody might try to kick me in the balls in a fight? It's dumb, right? But this is their hypothetical world. And so what I want to talk about today is not that type of stuff, but what I want to talk about is why they're saying it and what you can do. Because commonly, I think most people get into a response where they give a hypothetical back, and then we play this hypothetical back and forth, and it's almost like, who would win in a fight, the Hulk or Superman? Well, it's whoever you want to win, right? Like, whichever side you're on is going to win. It doesn't make sense to have that conversation. Or they start to make fun of the person back, which I don't think helps, because when you look at why they're bringing this up, I think that it's an opportunity that as martial artists we sometimes miss to bring somebody into the fold. Hear me out. Why are they resorting in this conversation that you're talking about martial arts and they are not even in this conversation in a meaningful way? And you might be talking about it in whatever reason, general terms, or like whatever's going on, whatever it is. For whatever reason, that person has brought it up, and the reason is almost always the same. They feel like you have created almost like thrown a gauntlet, and guys like to get in peeing contests. I mean, you don't see this. I've never met a woman who's brought up the "you can't chop a bullet" conversation. Never happened. Maybe it happens. I've never seen it. It's almost always guys, and it's because as guys were trained, when the conversation comes out, it's like, my dad could beat up your dad, right? Like, it's a pissing contest. And it's like, no guy wants to be the guy who's considered the weakest guy in the room. Like, and so the default at that point for a lot of guys is to make a joke about it or to undermine what that person is doing or going through to personally better themselves, because they probably are a little bit insecure in that moment, and they probably feel like in that pissing contest, like almost, it's not like bullying, it's like they're bullying themselves in that moment because they're feeling insecure about being weak. And so what they want to do is make a mockery of this thing that you're doing to personally better yourself. And so they say, what about if they have a gun? Because all of a sudden they feel like now that I can win the conversation every time if I just say this. And to be fair, in their life, they probably have had that every time they've come across this. They go, what if I have a gun? And the conversation's over. So what I like to do is kind of challenge that this way. If you play the hypothetical game, it kind of goes nowhere. If you make a joke of them back, all you've done is reinforce that insecurity. So what I like to do instead is try to use this as an opportunity to bring them in the fold. So the first thing I do is I try to use inclusive statements, and I go, you know what? You are like me. You understand, like, see what I mean? Like bringing them in, making them feel like they're not an outsider. They're the same as me, right? And I say, look, you and I are the same. You're a smart person. You understand that it's not just about the weapon. It is about the ability to handle duress, right? To respond well in a critical situation. And martial arts teaches that. Now all of a sudden they are on the same side as you. You've automatically started to change that. Now all you got to do is start taking away their excuses for not coming. And it's like anything else in sales. If you know the reasons that they're going to give you, you can overcome objectives before they even make them. I know you're busy, because everyone says, I don't have time. I know you're busy, but you understand the value in personal development, and that having skills like this to be able to respond well under duress, you can only train that into yourself. And honestly, I don't know everything, so you bring yourself down a little bit. Maybe you should talk to my coach about it and see what he thinks. That type of stuff makes it feel like you're not trying to be better than them. And then you start giving them reasons to be there, right? Like, I like to express to people, like, look, first of all, the first time you're there, because everybody's afraid that they're going to look stupid when they're there. Everybody feels that way the first time. And so you got to remind them that this is a normal feeling, and tell them, like, look, the first month you're there, you're going to feel like a duck out of water. But the cool thing about it is there is no other activity in life that everybody is going to feel like they've been through that same thing. And not only will they have known what you're going through, but they're going to help you to get past it. And where else in life do you find an entire room full of people that all they want to do is see you succeed? I guarantee you do not find that in the office. No office in the world do you go to that everybody is rooting for your success. There's always a couple guys who are like, I'd like to see that guy go down a peg. Everywhere. I don't care where you're at. But in martial arts, the entire room wants nothing more than your success. I've never been so happy as like when my friends get promoted. I love it when my friends get promoted. It's so exciting for me because I also feel like I'm part of that. I have helped them along that process. Maybe not a huge part, maybe even just a little bit. My roles that I've done with that person, that sparring that I've done with that person. Even when you're not the coach, when you're just another guy on the mat, it's super exciting to know that you are part of why that guy is successful. When your buddies win competitions, you're excited because you're part of that too. And so an entire room full of people rooting for your success. Man, therapy and martial arts is going to change the world, I'm telling you. And if you can get people excited about being part of those things, being in therapy and developing strategies for life to make you successful, and then execution through martial arts to develop skills to make yourself better, whether it's fitness so you're not bored at the gym, or having something that you have a socialization where you get to meet people who are like-minded, who aren't just doing the same thing every day. I like to point out to people, we live in a world of commercialization. Everybody feels this, that all they are is just another pocketbook for Amazon to draw upon. There's more to life than this. And everybody feels this. You just have to tap into that part of them. And now all of a sudden, instead of turning this person into somebody who's a vocal opposition, now you've maybe influenced them. And you're probably asking yourself, why would I go through the effort for some guy who's just trying to make a joke at my expense? And my answer is this. I'm a believer that if I live a good life, it influences other people. And I believe that I do. I am a happy person. Now, everybody has off days, but in general, I consider myself a very happy person. And it's because I've done the work to do so. I've done the therapy. I've done the work of like the personal betterment. And a lot of that is through martial arts. So if you can show that, other people will want to connect with that. If I am happy, the people around me will want to be happy. And when they start finding success following the same path, other people will want to follow that path. And it becomes contagious. And that makes the world a better place. And it means it's a better world for you to live in. And it's worth the effort. Also, who doesn't want new training buddies, right? So from that standpoint, I hope you guys all share this and try this strategy out and let me know how it goes. And then if you have other strategies for when you deal with the what if they have a gun guy, throw them in the comments and let me know.